Greetings. Yesterday we were discussing about the principle of inclusion exclusion, and then we tried to extend the formula for two sets from then three and in general n sets also. So in regard to the same, we'll discuss one or two more problems and then we'll proceed further. So here it was we have seen cardinality. Cardinality means the number of elements in a particular set. So these were the simple results. Cardinality of a n and b is less than equal to n of a plus n of b. Similarly, cardinality of a intersection b is less than or equal to minimum of cardinality of a and cardinality of b. Then the ring sum a of a and b, a cardinality is equal to cardinality of first plus cardinality of second minus 2 times cardinality of their intersection. Then cardinality of a minus b is greater than equal to cardinality of a minus cardinality of b. And the principle of inclusion exclusion, we know for two sets, three sets, and in general for n sets also. So with that, I would like to proceed further. Actually, we have discussed some problems. So the principle of inclusion exclusion. Then we have seen some problems also, and then after that, let us move for this problem. So here you can see I am reading that problem. We are going to solve it um, completely, and we are going to try to understand the concepts in a better way. So problem is 100 sportsmen were asked whether they play cricket, football or hockey. Out of these 100, 45 play cricket, 21 play football, 38 play hockey, 18 play cricket and hockey, 9 play cricket and football, 4 play football and hockey, and 23 play none of this. Find the number of sportsmen who play exactly 2 games and exactly 1 game. This is from November 2018 question paper. Okay. So we'll have to define everything properly. Let U be the set of all the sportsmen. Okay. So it is. So here, let C be the set of sportsmen among these 100 who play cricket. F be the set of sportsmen who play football. H be the set of sportsmen who play hockey. And here we have Venn diagram representing the same. This is universal set, so it contains all those 100 sportsmen located in this region. Each sportsman will be represented by one dot as such. So this is set C, then this is set F, and this is set H. Okay. After that, whatever has been provided to us is going to be written by us. Here, cardinality of the universal set is 100. Okay. Then 45 play cricket. Cardinality of C is 45. Cardinality of F is F means football. So here, how many play football? 21. Then 38 play hockey. 18 play cricket and hockey. Like that. So cricket and hockey, 18. Cricket and football, 9. Football and hockey, 4. As such. And one more information is given to us, 23 play none of this. So the cardinality of C complement intersection F complement intersection H complement equal to 23. So we can write here this figure as 23 is here, and we know that is that set is nothing but C complement intersection F complement intersection H complement. And what is complement of this? That is nothing but this C union F union H. So obviously cardinality of C union F union H plus cardinality of C complement intersection F complement intersection H complement must be equal to cardinality of the universal set. And thus we can say that the cardinality of C union F union H equal to 77. That means there are 77 out of 100 sportsmen who play at least one game. So some of these play exactly one game, some of these play exactly 2 games, and the remaining play all the 3 games. So all these 3 possibilities are there. And by the principle of inclusion exclusion, we can write here cardinality of C union F union H equal to cardinality of C plus cardinality F plus cardinality of H minus cardinality of C intersection F minus cardinality of C intersection H minus cardinality of F intersection H plus cardinality of C intersection F intersection H. Okay. And let us put these values. 77 is equal to 45 plus 21 plus 38 minus 18 minus 9 minus 4 and plus we do not know the last one, that is cardinality of C intersection F intersection H. So we have to solve this. So after solving, we will be getting the cardinality of C intersection F intersection H is equal to 4. That means out of 100 sportsmen, there are 4 who play all the 3 games. So this much information is with us. Now let us try to understand. So, one more thing is given, C intersection F has cardinality equal to C. C intersection F means all the sportsmen who play cricket and football, and that will be union of the set C cricket and football and hockey, and cricket and football and not hockey. So it is very much obvious, and as such, therefore, what is known to us? 18. This is 18 is equal to 4 plus remaining thing. So remaining thing, sorry, C intersection F, na? C intersection F कितनी है? 9. 9 is equal to 4 plus. So the remaining has to be 5. So this is 5. Okay. Then the next is cardinality of C intersection H is equal to cardinality of C intersection F intersection H plus cardinality of C intersection F complement intersection H, and thus after putting the values, so left hand side is 4. 4 is equal to 4 plus, so the remaining part C intersection H, that is 18. 18 is equal to 4 plus the last term, so the last term is equal to 14. And one more, cardinality of F intersection H is equal to cardinality of C intersection F intersection H plus cardinality of C complement intersection F intersection H. And thus we know 4 is equal to 4 plus, so the remaining part has to be 0 as such. So we have found this, and let us write these figures here. C in cardinality of C intersection F intersection H complement equal to 5. So C intersected with F and intersected with H complement. So this is 5. So 5 people are playing cricket and football, but not hockey as such. Then the next is cardinality of C intersection F complement intersection H. So people playing cricket but not football and playing hockey. So cricket and hockey but not football, that is equal to 14. And one more thing, people playing not cricket but football and hockey, and that is equal to 0. So this much information is with us, and we have noted it. Now this is with us. See exactly we have, and let us try to solve further. The first part I ask is we have to find the number of sportsmen who play exactly 2 games. So here everything is in front of you. So that is nothing but players who play cricket and football plus players who play cricket and hockey plus people who play football and hockey. So we have found it. So 5 plus 14 plus 0, and the answer is equal to 19. So this is the first part. Now what is the next? So I think so it takes a lot of time to prepare a PPTs. So I am not able to do within the stipulated time. So but still what is asked now? The second part that has been asked is second part. So let us try to solve this. We have to find the number of sportsmen who play exactly 1 game. So this person, suppose A, then B and C. So only, so this is set C, this is F, and this is H. So these things are to be found out. So C, cardinality of C is equal to, means number of people playing cricket is equal to number of people playing cricket and football plus number of people playing cricket but not football. So I think you understand this. Okay. Now number of people who play cricket and football is exactly same as number of people who play cricket and football and hockey plus number of people who play cricket and football and do not play hockey. Similarly, the second part, number of people who play cricket but not football, that is equal to not football and hockey plus number of people who play cricket, who do not play football, and who do not play hockey. So as such, you have to find out. So what is with us? Whatever the figures we have, let us mention those. So here I will have to go again back. So cardinality of C C is equal to 45. 45. So this is 45. Left hand side is 45. 45 is equal to C intersection F intersection H. Okay. So this is nothing but 4 plus C intersection F intersection H complement is 5 plus C intersection F complement intersection H is equal to 14 and plus this cardinality of C intersection F intersection H complement, and thus we can get therefore cardinality of C. So number of sportsmen who play only cricket is nothing but this will be is equal to 45 minus this much. So how much it is? 40 minus 18. So I think it is 22. So this is 22. So as such, we have to find the sportsmen who play only football, then only hockey. So for that, you know, the people who play football is equal to 21. So 21 must be equal to 4 plus 5 plus 0, that is 9. 9 plus 12. So this must be 12. So you can similarly find this one, and then you can find finally the number of people who play only hockey. So for that again, cardinality of H equal to 38, and here so 38, 14 plus 4 plus 0, that is 18, and 38 minus 18 is equal to 20. And thus the number of sportsmen who play exactly one game is equal to, yes, that is equal to number of people who play only cricket plus number of people who play only football plus number of people who play only hockey, and this is equal to 22 plus 12 plus 20, and that is equal to 54. 54 is the answer. So as such we can find. So in effect, we will be very much comfortable if we have been using the concept of Venn diagram. Then as such, this is one more problem, identical, exactly identical, because I have been solving at least 3 to 4 problems. So just you can take screenshot, and as this problem has been asked in November 2016, so I'm just going reading it. In a class of 80 students, 50 know English, 55 know French, 46 know German, 37 English and French, 28 French and German, 25 English and German, 7 know none. So it is exactly like the previous problem. Find the number of students who know all the 3 languages, exactly 2 languages, and exactly 1 language. So you can take screenshot of the same and try to solve on your own. Okay. So after this, I have not prepared any slide because I could not find enough time to get the theme. But we'll be discussing the next bit from belonging to unit number 1. And what is that? So let us see. just here. We'll be discussing something about sets. So, unit number 1 is set theory. Already I have discussed this principle of inclusion exclusion. We have extended also. And let us try to discuss many more points here systematically, and let us try to develop, inculcate our logical power even in a better way. So, the name of this subject is discrete mathematics. So, everybody must understand the meaning of discrete, and you will be able to understand it by the end of this session. So, this is what I think. Now, the thing is that set, we'll be talking a little about set. So, we know that set is a collection of objects, distinct objects but bearing identical properties. So, if we have a set of natural numbers, definitely there cannot be any alphabet or some animal, something like that. So there are some common characteristics shared among different entities in a set. So each part of a set is called as an object or a member of that set, and throughout the discussion we know the notation of a set. So curly brackets are used to represent different objects of that set which are separated by commas, and each member belongs to that set. Okay, we may have a set of all the students of AC Comp of our college in this academic year 21-22. So it may contain around, I do not know exactly, maybe 65. There will be 65 number of elements in this. Okay, so obviously there will not be principal. There is a concept, actually it is assumed that in a set, no object is written again and again repeatedly. So this is one major assumption. Now, to talk something about here, set, subset. Now, there are some relations, complex, etc. So this is A. Suppose A is a set which contains elements X, Y. Before defining any set, it is expected that you have to define the universal set. So, firstly, we must have universal set X, Y, Z, W, something like that. And if some set has been defined, then automatically one set is defined, and that is nothing but complement of A. So this is A dash, sometimes A bar. So these are the different notations used. So that is nothing but collection of those elements in the universal set which are not in A. So you can understand Z, W. And then when we say that two sets are mutually exclusive, A and B are mutually exclusive. Exclusive. Another name is disjoint. Disjoint if both do not share a common element, means there is no element common in A and B. That means their intersection A intersection B must be an empty set. So you can write this or phi. Okay. So whenever A and B are mutually exclusive or disjoint, some element X is belonging to A, definitely X is not going to belong to B. Suppose some Z is going to belong to B, then definitely Z will not belong to A. This happens. It is quite possible that there is some element which does not belong to A and also does not belong to B. That is quite possible, but it will never happen that a particular element will be belonging to both A and B. So this is said to be mutually exclusive. Similarly, there is a concept of exhaustive also. A and B sets are exhaustive if A union B is equal to the universal set. A union B equal to universal set. Yes. So, for example, with respect to this U, I have already defined A. Then I am going to define B as equal to Y, Z, W. So we can say that A intersection B is nothing but a set which contains only Y, singleton. And thus A and B are not mutually exclusive. But are these exhaustive? Let us see. A union B is equal to a set which contains X, Y, Z as well as W, which is exactly equal to the universal set. So A and B are exhaustive. So their union must be equal to the universal set. So we have seen here one example wherein two sets are exhaustive but not mutually exclusive. We may have two sets which are not exhaustive but will be mutually exclusive. Yes, we may have sets A and B such that both are mutually exclusive as well as exhaustive. And the fourth possibility is the given two sets are neither exhaustive nor mutually exclusive. But definitely there exists a situation wherein the given two sets are mutually exclusive as well as exhaustive. So I am writing a statement for any set A, the sets the sets A and A complement are, now see, A intersection A complement. So here if I draw a Venn diagram, this is the universal set. Suppose this is A, automatically A complement is defined. A intersection A complement is equal to phi. So the sets A and A complement are mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means those cannot have sub element in common. The next thing is that A union A complement equal to universal set, so and also exhaustive. So this is a nice example. For the given universal set, we can define any set A, and in that sets A and A complement are mutually exclusive as well as exhaustive. There are some interesting properties. This is a complement and complement of that is nothing but A. Then we know A union B. A union B. So this is inclusive R is the set of all X such that X belongs to A or X belongs to B. Then this is inclusive R. Inclusive. Yesterday I have talked with you about exclusive R also. So A ring sum B, or that is also symmetric difference of A and B. X belongs to A or X belongs to B, but X does not belongs to A intersection B. So this is exclusive OR. So in this Venn diagram, if I am having two sets. Suppose this is set A, this is set B. Then we know inclusive OR. This is inclusive OR A union B. And on the contrary, quickly, this symmetric difference of A and B, that is represented by this. This is A ring sum B. And there is one concept of A minus B also. A minus B is a set which contains all x such that x belongs to A but x does not belongs to B. So try to understand the concept. Actually, we used to this negation sign between two real numbers, but it can be used between two sets also, but it has a totally different meaning. A minus B, this is another set which contains all those elements in A which are not in B. So here, if I want to, so this is already I have shown ring sum of A and B. Then see, I will have to use another screen here. A, B. Now this is nothing but A minus B. A minus B. And I would like to tell, yes, I'll be copying and pasting. Suppose this is exactly the same, just copy paste is there. And I want to elaborate that we can write A minus B in a different way also. And that is nothing but A intersection B complement. How it comes? So let us represent A by suppose horizontal strips. A is by horizontal strips. Then B complement by vertical strips. Vertical strips. So B complement is by vertical strips. So here, what will be the region that will correspond to A and B complement? That will have the properties of A as well as of B complement. So that will be area looking like checks, and that area is nothing but this. So this is the area. Okay. So this is nothing but this is A intersection B complement. That is nothing but A minus B. So A intersection B complement. It is obvious. A and not B means A minus B. Similarly, here you can have this. This is nothing but A complement intersection B. Otherwise, you can call this as B minus A. Okay. And now the ring sum. Now you can define the ring sum or symmetric difference of A and B or exclusive, or that is nothing but, yes, I am trying here once again and try to understand. This is A, this is B, and the ring sum is this one, and you can call this as A union B minus A intersection B. This is one definition. Another definition can be A minus B united with B minus A. Okay. Then there is De Morgan's law also. De Morgan's law is nothing but A union B whole complement equal to A complement intersection B complement. Similarly, A intersection B whole complement is equal to A complement union B complement. These are De Morgan's law. Then there are distributive laws also. So I would like to say A intersection B union C is equal to A intersection B united with A intersection C. This is distributive. We say that this is Intersection is distributive over union. So as good as you can say that already we know A multiplied by B plus C. So this is equal to, we know this is A into B plus A into C. So it is exactly alike. So in mathematics we know that multiplication is distributive over addition here. But my next question is addition distributive over multiplication? So can somebody guide me here? Equal to or not equal to is in between. So can I say that A plus B into C is equal to A plus B multiplied by A plus C? Is it valid? Yes or no? Anyone? Does it happen? Is this the result true or false?
False.
False. Yes, this is not correct in algebra, but this is means we say that addition is not distributive. This is not distributive or multiplication. Already we know multiplication is distributive or addition. And analogously, in set theory, intersection is distributive or union. And as good as here, union is going to be distributive or intersection. So that is A union B intersection C. So this is nothing but A union B intersected with A union C. So this happens. Okay. Next thing, subset, set. So let us try to discuss openly. So whatever I remember, I will be explaining the concept. Yes, definitely I will be covering. And yes, whenever I am discussing some bit, I am having the questions from the previous university question papers. And with respect to that, I am going to discuss the theory, the concept, and after that we discuss the problem also. If besides the university question papers, if I am able to find some standard and important problems, yes, there is no hesitation to discuss such problems also. So here again subset. There is a concept of subset. So we say that A is a subset, means set A. Set A is a subset of set B if every member of set A is also member of set B. If whenever an element X belongs to set A, then that element belongs to set B also. This is simple definition and this much only. Nothing more than that. Yes, if there is one element which is in A, then definitely that is in B. Whenever this happens, we say that A is subset of B. Is the converse true? Means when I say that A is subset of B, can I say that B is also a subset of A? Yes or no?
No, sir.
No, no. So answer in general. So whenever we answer to a particular question, so that we are considering the general situation, and here there may be some particular situations wherein that is not applicable. But see, when I tell you that A is subset of B, then it is quite possible that B is also subset of A or B is not subset of A. Both possibilities are there. Yes, both possibilities are there. For example, here I am saying set, suppose S1 is a set which contains 1, 4, S2 is equal to 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. Then S3 is equal to 1, 4, 6. Okay. So we know that S1 is subset of S2, but S2 is not subset of S1. Okay. Now, what about S1 and S3? S1 contains elements 1, 4, 6, and 1, 4, 6 is in S3 also. Yes. So S1 is subset of S3. My next question, is S3 subset of S1? Now each member of S3, 1, 4, 6 is in S1 also. Yes. So S3 is also subset of S1. So it happens in both the ways. So in general, when I say that A is subset of B, then conversely, there are two options. B will be subset of A or B will not be a subset of A. Now there is a concept of proper subset. So we say that A is a subset of B. This is just a subset of B. This is the definition. Now, what is proper subset? A is proper subset of B is denoted by this. That is, A is a proper subset of B if, do you know, can someone contribute? A is proper subset of B. When do we say that A is proper subset of B? Please, do you have idea? This happens if A is subset of B and B contains at least one element which is not in A. If A is a subset of B and B contains at least one element which is not in A, then we say that A is a proper subset of B. So can you tell me here, in among S1, S2, S3, which set is a proper set of the remaining one? Please tell me. Which is proper subset? We have already seen S1 is subset of S2. We have seen S1 is subset of S3. So is S1 proper subset of S2 or S1 proper subset of S3?
Sir, S1 is proper subset of S2 and S3 is also proper subset of S2.
Exactly. Please can you tell your name?
Yogansh.
Yogansh, surname?
Wag.
Okay, good, nice. See, S1 is proper subset of S2. Actually, S1 and S3 are same, so he added S3 is also proper subset of S2. The reason is that every member in S1 is also in S2. Further, S2 contains at least one element. Here, 2 and 7, these are the two elements which are in S2 and not in S1. So S1 is a proper subset of S2. S1 is a proper subset of S2. Okay, you understood. Now my question is that, is S1 a proper subset of S3? Is S1 a proper subset of S3? Please tell. Is S1 a proper subset of S3?
No, sir.
No, no. Exactly. The answer is no. The reason is that here every member of S1 is in S3 also, but we are not able to identify at least one member in S3 which is not in S1. So here I will add S1 is a subset of S3, but is not a proper subset of S3. So is an improper subset of S3. What is meant by that? So you can also say S3 is also an improper subset of S1. So whenever I say that set A is an improper subset of set B, that means A and B are same. A and B are same. And we know the definition of equality of two sets. Two sets are said to be equal if the number of elements in those two sets are the same. This is first condition. And the second condition is that each element of first set is also in the second set and vice versa. So in that case, we say that two sets are equal sets. So I have discussed the subset also. Then I want to say that phi, this phi is nothing but empty set. So there is nothing. So my question is that is phi subset of set A? Is phi subset of set A where A is any set? Please answer. A is any set. Is phi subset of any set?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Anyone? Will anyone like to add? Phi. Now see, phi means this is, I have written the brackets, but there is no element in this. And A. Suppose A is a set which contains two elements X and Y. So can I say subset? In this box, can I put the symbol subset? Now what is definition of a subset? If every element of set A is in set B, then we say that A is subset of B. Okay. And this definition is not violated. This definition is not violated, and hence we say that this empty set is subset of this set. Actually, an empty set, remember, these are very small but important things. An empty set is a subset of any set. Okay. And I will add one more. Any set is a subset of the universal set. The universal set. For example, suppose our universal set in a discussion is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you can define so many elements, uh, different sets, which will be the subsets of this. Then how many subsets are possible? So we'll be discussing all these things, I think, in the next time, because time is over. Still I can extend for 4 to 5 minutes. Power set, concept of power set, and what is meant by power set, and for a given set, how many power sets are possible? Means that power set, how many elements will be in that power set? So these are the interesting things. So I'll be giving some examples and I'll be asking you some questions so that you can answer with proper justification. Now I would like to just put the link for attendance as well as feedback. Please take your uh, little time and so I have been sharing the link in the chat box. So I think you can see this. Please go through that link, share it. Uh, uh, please fill that link and give your valuable suggestion also. So next time, yes, I have collected some previous questions from based on this topic, set theory, power set, something like that, and we'll be discussing during the next session. If possible,